for reasons which will be made clear later in this episode. The following podcast is not a rerun. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Hello, and lots more. Join me at a tremendously exciting moment. It's Into Your Head, number 783. We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming at the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this almost empty roll of sellotape. Well, I say almost empty. It was empty in the middle from the minute I got it. There's a giant hole in the middle of this roll of sellotape, but that's okay. That's part of the design. Part of the design is a big gaping hole in the middle of a roll of tape, and it's supposed to be there. It's there so you can. It's not there to serve any purpose. It's there because putting stuff in that hole would not serve any purpose. There's no need for it. You don't need to fill it up. It's not like one of those giant rings that they use in circuses or somewhere that you burst through with an elephant or something through and have a big circular bit of paper there and you burst through. No, do they have those in circuses? Maybe I'm thinking of children's television game shows. I don't know. You see them sometimes though. They get a big hoop, a big plastic hoop, like the type that gymnasticians use. How's that? No, practitioners of gymnastics use them. Sometimes you get one. Maybe magicians use them as part of their act, and you'd have a big hoop, but it would be walled up with a big round sheet of paper, and someone bursts through from behind it as a bit of a spectacle. That's what you do it for, a bit of spectacle and showmanship and showwomanship and show everybody else ships, as long as it's not the Titanic. Although you can show the Titanic. There's the Titanic museum up in Northern Ireland where they show off the Titanic or what's left of it, or they show exhibits regarding the Titanic. They don't show the Titanic itself because the Titanic itself is down in it's down in a sewer somewhere, down under the sea, as the Disney film says, into the sea, I want to be under the sea. And then Leonardo DiCaprio comes on and he says, "Oh, this is the wrong movie." Or is it? Because I'm one of those people who's been in films for a couple of decades now. It's about time I settled down and started doing easy stuff like Disney soundtracks. That's what the rest of them do. Because otherwise, if I just keep working my arse off, I'm going to end up bogged down in work. I'll end up like Robin Williams or something. Not that there's anything wrong with ending up like Robin Williams. Well, except the last bit of his life. You don't want to end up like that. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to end up like Robert De Niro, not giving a shit what you do, just enjoying yourself. That's how you want to end up. Not worrying what other people think of you. Not worrying that everyone else thinks you suck now. Everyone thinks Robert De Niro sucks monkey nuts big time, but he doesn't give a shit. He did all his giving a shit in the 70s. He says, "I'm going to give a shit for the first 15 years of my career. I'm going to spend 3 years driving a taxi around in New York just to practice for the role, and then I'm going to have a career in boxing just to practice for my next role, and then I'm going to go and have a role in Subway, and then I'm going to go starting appearing in stupid comedy movies." Not that there's anything stupid about a comedy movie per se, but he managed to pick the stupid ones to appear in. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with any of that whatsoever. Oh, there's nothing wrong with anything like that whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with anything like that whatsoever. Oh, I just realised the song I'm doing here sounds a bit like that song. That song at the end of the movie about the girl who gets pregnant. You're a part-time lover and a full-time friend. Something, 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 something. I wouldn't want to be with anyone else but you. All similarities are entirely coincidental, though, so don't come round suing the arse off me. I didn't write this song; it just came to me out of this half liter of dart stimulation drink I'm just finishing here. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. I've always been a great believer in the dictum, I've just brushed my teeth on the way up from attending to some laundry. In the interim, not in the interim, in the posterim, in the period after I brushed my teeth, I realised I still have some energy drink to drink through these brushed teeth, and it's going to taste disgusting. It's going to taste like this energy drink that usually tastes like medicine is going to taste like medicine mixed with toothpaste. Now, I know what you're thinking there. The whole purpose of toothpaste is to freshen up the mouth and get rid of all the stink and the smells and the disgust. So in theory, filtering a poor tasting energy drink through an especially clean mouth should, if anything, improve it. But no, you'd be wrong about that. You'd be wrong. Just goes to show how little you know about energy drinks and dentistry. I hope you don't work in either of those fields, or if you do, you're in a peripheral occupation within that industry, and you're not in charge of the whole energy drink toothpaste design. I suppose you could work on the conveyor belt line and maybe putting the tops on the bottles or something like that. But no, I hope you're not in charge of any kind of formulation of the energy drinks or the toothpaste, because no, you're not qualified to do that. You're not. Well, you may technically have some qualification on paper that will get you into the job, but no, you're unsuitable for that role. No offense, most people are unsuitable for the role of designing energy drinks or toothpaste. Those are specialist fields, and the vast majority of the 7 billion people on this planet will never design a toothpaste in their life, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed of it. Certainly you shouldn't be, unless you set higher standards for yourself than I do for me, which is a bit odd when you think about it. Although maybe not, I don't know. We all have different aims in life. Some of us are happy to sit here making podcasts and enjoying life. Some of you strive to be the world's leading formulator of energy drinks and toothpaste. So be it, I suppose. Every man to his own, every woman to her own. Anyway, no, time to drink the rest of this energy drink. It's not terrible now that I think about it and taste it. It's actually, I talked myself into a furore over that, but as it turned out, the event itself was less bad than I had envisaged. But at least we got a couple of minutes out of that. Two cats walk into a toothpaste factory. One of the cats goes straight up to the toothpaste factory line operator's supervisor's desk and says, "Hello, that's unusual. You've a desk in a factory and you're a line supervisor. That's unusual, it seems to me." And the line supervisor says, "I suppose it is. What are you, the inspector of line operator furniture or something?" And the cat says, "I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I was just making conversation." And the man behind the desk says, "Well, don't. It's far more than my job's worth to be defending myself to a cat, not at least two cats, because there's two of you here. Even though only one of you is speaking, there's definitely two cats here. You can try as you may to have just one of you talking and try to create the impression that there's just the one of you. I know it's two cats in effectively a one cat costume. It's like one of you is playing the front of the pantomime horse, horse, and the other one is playing the back, but you forgot to put a blanket over you, so I can see the inner workings of the pantomime horse, and I can see there's 2 cats inside it, and the cat says, "That's fine, I wasn't trying to hide the other cat. It's just a bit of a Penn and Teller arrangement we have going here. I talk and the other cat doesn't talk. It's as simple as that. We're the Penn and Teller of the cat world." So I don't know. We'll use that as a show title. I think we will. The Penn and Teller of the cat world. There we go. That's much better. I was going to call it Gymnasticians, based on the segment that you'll hear later, but it turns out that the segment you hear later turns out to be wrong, because I thought, you'll find out later. Well, you won't, because this is later than I recorded that, and new information has emerged, so I suppose I'll say it in here. Later in the show, you'll hear me delight in myself discovering that Gymnasticians is a real word. But now new information has cast extra light on that. That shows that it's not a real world word after all. So the end of this show, the closing segment, is going to sound moronic, but that's fine. I'm not afraid to sound stupid. I'm not afraid to show myself warts and all. It's absolutely fine. Anyway, the Penn and Teller of the cat world. Anyway, the cat says, "Oh, there's an email. Boots, refresh, revive, and rejuvenate your routine." Oh, how do I do that? Let's have a look. New Gillette Pro Glide Flex Ball. Was £12, now £6. Boots, firstly, we don't have the pound here. If you're emailing me in Ireland, you've got dozens of branches in Ireland. You haven't even bothered to change the prices for me. Fuck off with your crap. A foreign pharmacy operating in Ireland, and you can't even be bothered to change your fucking email to suit me, even though I can buy your stuff here in euros. Fuck off with your shy Boots. If that's your real name, which it probably is, Mr. Boots the Chemist. Boots is a chain of pharmacies over here. It's from England, but they have several branches over here. So I signed up for a Boots card, which is for women, as it turns out. You sign up for a Boots card, and then every time you go in, they say, "Oh, here's a voucher. Here's a voucher for some free crap for some woman to put on her face, to smear on her face, even though you're the one who does all the shopping in here. Here's your, have you got your Boots Advantage card?" I have indeed. Here you are. I went through that routine about a dozen times till I realised there's nothing in this for me. I'm going to have one less loyalty card in my wallet, so I took it out. I think it's around here somewhere still, and now I'm down to about 4 loyalty cards, so at least that's one less thing in my, so anyway, fuck off Boots with your crap, although I'll probably be into a branch of Boots later as it happens. But no, where was I? Oh yes, the cat's in the toothpaste factory. My dad used to say, oh no, he didn't. We used to mock my dad by saying it, I think. I don't know, because my dad had my father had an accent, and my brother and I used to mock it by saying there's a toothpaste factory, and no, it's a bit hard to explain to a third party, to be perfectly honest, so let's not do that. Anyway, suffice to say, 2 cats in a toothpaste factory, and a great night is had by all.
You're listening to
the Into Your Head podcast
from Ireland with your humble proprietor, Neal.
Follow Neal at twitter.com/intoyourheadpod and pretend to like him at facebook.com/intoyourheadpodcast.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email studio@intoyourhead.com.
studio@intoyourhead.com.
Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats and stuff.
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neal's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
intoyourhead.com.
I've just realised I was typing along as I go along, writing the show notes, because it's important to provide resources to go along with these programmes. I was writing the show notes and I typed down the word gymnasticians, which I assumed didn't exist. I assumed I just made it up. But no, apparently the word gymnasticians is recognised by both my spell checker and the internet. So there is such a thing as gymnasticians. I'm more knowledgeable than I give myself credit for. I should give myself credit for being more knowledgeable than I think I am, because it seems to have just proved that whatever level of knowledge I assume myself to have, turns out I have more knowledge than that. So whatever level of knowledge I have more than that. I just don't know it. I don't know it, although now I'm guessing. I can guess it though. I can make an educated guess now, which I suppose is the same as knowing it, is it? I don't know. So now if I make an educated guess, I can say I know I'm more intelligent than that, but does that mean I'm even more intelligent than that, though, in real life? Or does it mean I'm overestimating now? I don't know. Going to get bogged down in circles of confusion now. Circles of confusion, and all because I said the word gymnasticians, which I didn't know was a word at the time. And they're fucking ridiculous. That's what it is. His whole life is fucking ridiculous. We're all sitting around here afraid to say words like gymnasticians because we are afraid people will think we're stupid, when in actual fact what we should be doing is showing off our knowledge of words that you didn't know even existed. You're all impressed at me now. I said gymnasticians and you said, oh, that's not a word, he's being stupid, when in actual fact I was being very very clever indeed. I was being I'm the Professor Stephen Hawking of language. That's what I am. Professor Stephen Hawking, he doesn't even know about language. Does he know what a word looks like? He probably doesn't. Or maybe he does. Well, he knows what a written version of a word looks like, but he doesn't know what a word looks like, what a soundular word looks like, does he? Although, no, he's not deaf. Wait a minute. Well, does he know what his own words sound like? Probably not. He just knows what they look like. Maybe he can look at a sound wave representation of his artificial voice and see what it looks like and listen to it. But no, where am I going with this? I don't know. Where am I going with this? I don't know. Anyway, on with the show. I've always been a great believer in the dictum, speak slowly to fill up more time, because if there's one thing that's a nuisance to us and in the way of our lives and obstructing our enjoyment of lives, it's time. There's too much time. There's far too much of it. We've got billions and billions of years of time built up, and we're building up more every minute of every day. Every minute of every second of every day, more and more time is ticking along. We're clocking up more time every time we fucking breathe. So I say we go slowly to use up some of this time, because we're going to have too much of it. There's mountains of it. It's going to be like the 1980s when we had the EU butter mountain and the EU milk lake and all these things. Because of interventions and subsidies, there was milk and butter left over piling up somewhere, and we weren't allowed to use it or something like that, if I remember rightly. The European Union had these farming rules. It's going to be the same with time. You've got too much time. You got heavy, and you think you love to say. Of course, the traditional thing to say, because people think it's cool or they're being profound or something, to say, "Oh, you're wasting time if you don't do anything with it. You're wasting time. That time is flowing down the drain. You might as well be." There's some kid, some starving child in Ethiopia who would give his right leg to have that extra time, and you're just wasting it. Well, no, there's plenty of time. There'll be billions of years of it built up. Time has been ticking away since the beginning of the universe, and it shows no sign of ending anytime soon. So the more we get rid of it and waste it away, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, I think that was my explanation for talking slowly. As we all know, the real explanation is that I was trying to think of something to say. But no, I still stand by what I said about time. And as I speak, I've been fidgeting with a little cheap hair comb here that's on my desk for some reason. And I seem to have, with my left thumb and my left forefinger, I seem to have broken at least 20 teeth off this comb. So I suppose I won't be using that again. Although I usually, some of these cheap combs I tend to keep around just for scratching my back. They're really good for that. Combs are excellent for scratching your back and other parts of your anatomy, as long as you're gentle and don't overdo it. That's the great thing about combs. I don't tend to comb my hair at all these days, my head hair, because I got it very short, so there's no need to comb it. It doesn't need to be guided in any particular direction because it's not going anywhere. It's just waiting around for a couple of weeks to be trimmed down to stubble again. Doesn't really need to be guided anywhere. That's just like a train that's just sitting there in a museum. It doesn't need tracks because it's not going anywhere, so it doesn't need to be combed. That's what I found anyway. I don't know about you. Maybe it's different for you. It probably is. We all have our own different experiences of the world. There's 7 billion of us here. It's likely that we all see the world and experience the universes in different ways. I can only tell you, there go another 3 teeth, 3 or 4. It's very satisfying, actually. Here you go. That's what I thought. Doing it in front of the microphone now. You hear it? Here's another few. That's nearly all gone. I hope they don't get trapped in the keyboard because I'm dropping them onto that. Let's do the whole thing. There's about 8 left. Let's do them all now in one foul swoop. One left. Here you go. That's the whole comb destroyed. There's 2 teeth at the end there. That's the whole comb destroyed, apart from the 2 ends, which aren't really teeth. They're part of the actual frame, and they'd be more difficult to break off. So I'll just put the rest of the comb in the bin now. Don't worry about the trimmings, the teeth that are gone all over the floor there. I'll sweep that up next time I'm sweeping up my hair. It's fine. Anyway, on with the show. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, I wonder, is this a rerun? Because he's put out a couple of reruns lately. Although those have been all clearly marked as reruns. The first word of the title of each release has been rerun, followed by a colon, then the title. So you've just answered your own question there in your mind. This obviously isn't a rerun, because if it was, the chances are I'd have continued with my scheme of clearly labelling them as reruns, and you would know already just from looking at your screen on your iPodular telephone. It would say rerun, show something. And I can tell you, it wouldn't say show 783 if it was a rerun. It would not. It would say something between show 001 and 782, unless I've already been up to show 1000 and then went back to 0 again, because of the way a bit like. But podcasts don't work the same way as speedometers, or what you call it, or the clock on a car that measures the mileage. It does not. At least as far as I know, they don't. Or maybe they do. Maybe you get to 10,000 and then it goes back to 0. Nobody has ever got up to show 10,000 on a frigging podcast, though, except maybe Frank Edward Nora of the Overnightscape. But he's relaunched a couple of times under different names, so he always finds an excuse to go back to number 001 or to change his system or something. Frank Edward Nora of the Overnightscape has been podcasting since 1962. He's put them up as absolutely fucking fantastic podcasts. You should go listen to it. It was the first podcast I ever listened to, unless you count Leo Laporte's radio show, which I don't. So go way out of that. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, I was telling you about what you're thinking, which seems a bit null and void, if you don't mind me saying so. Even if I could read your mind, what would be the point of telling you what you're thinking? A more impressive feat would be to tell you what I'm thinking, which I do all the time. I do that all the time. That's the whole basis of this podcast. I tell you what I'm thinking. So basically, I'm a very impressive mind reader, or at least a useful one, a more useful one than a normal mind reader anyway. Here's what you're thinking, here's what what you had for breakfast. Here's what your name is. What in the name of Christ are you supposed to do with that? I don't know, unless you're having somebody write your autobiography for you as a ghostwriter. I suppose a psychic would make a good ghostwriter. They'd say, they go after you're dead, you get your ghostwriter to contact you psychically, and they ask you all your stuff. As presumably you're not busy anymore, so you have plenty of time to talk to the ghostwriter through a Ouija board. Is that what they call it? A Ouija board, not to be confused with a Wii, which is what the young people play on. In my day, the young people played with Ouija boards, but now board games are all out the window. They're playing with their Nintendo Wiis. They're going wee down an imaginary ski slope, and they're going, oh, isn't this fantastic? Isn't modern electronic life absolutely fucking fantastic? Which indeed it is. Well, I'm sure of nothing. I'm sure of nothing. Anyway, good morning.
Into your head,